Hey everyone, welcome to the third installment of my Microsoft Flight Simulator Tips and Tricks series. You've probably heard of the acronym Aviate, Navigate, and Communicate. It's an expression that's used to show where you should be putting your priorities when you're flying a plane. When you're just getting started though, doing all three at once can feel like a little bit of a burden. But one neat thing that we can do in Flight Sim 2020 that we couldn't do before is hand off some of that work to the AI. If I'm being honest, the air traffic control system in Flight Simulator 2020 feels like an almost exact port of what existed in the previous incarnation of Flight Simulator. I know a lot of people who fly around in the game without talking to ATC whatsoever just because it feels a little clunky. I found delegating that control to the AI to be a decent compromise. It gives you a better feeling of immersion than you would if you weren't using it at all. You can bring up the AI control by just clicking the little pilot here, and you can bring up the ATC control by clicking the tower right here. So as you can see, I am waiting to taxi. Of course, if I wanted to, I could just request a taxi myself, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the AI on, and it's going to do it for us.
Rio Ground Beechcraft Charlie, Mike Papa Romeo Tree 7 request taxi for departing straight out with uniform.
When I enabled the Manage Radio Comms, you probably noticed that the ATC window disappeared. Even though it's not showing anymore and the AI is now controlling the comms, I can still bring it up if I want to and override anything that it's done as well. The neat thing is that it's context sensitive, so whether you're taxiing, taking off, landing, or any other segment of flight, it's going to try and guess what it should be doing for you. I've even seen it work at uncontrolled airfields where it guessed that I was coming in for a landing and started announcing my position. That being said, sometimes I do still have to nudge it in the right direction. A few days ago I was on approach for landing, and it took a little bit longer than I would have liked to reach out to the tower to get our landing approval, so I just nudged it in the right direction by selecting the airport in the ATC window, and then it took care of the rest for me. So even though it doesn't completely remove you needing to use the ATC window, it does do, I would say, something like 90% of the work for you. I've only done a couple of flights so far with the AI comms, but I think I'm going to stick with it. I'd love to hear from anyone who has used it a little bit more extensively than me, so if you have, please make sure to drop it in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.